right, we got another episode of the Frosty Dinghy going on. We got the old J-Mac and his hiccups picking up the slack over there on the other side of the screen, so you don't have to listen to me talk the entire time. Make
What
sure
up?
you hit that like and follow button if you, I don't care if you feel like it or not, just hit the damn shit. That's what I'm saying. Keep Jerry in his nice huckleberry hats. How you doing today, Chief, other than the hiccups?
Oh, fucking, other than that, not too bad. It's a beautiful day out.
I would have to say I appreciate you coming back to the Jeep community. I heard your, well, I guess you sent me a picture, but didn't the lady get herself a Gladiator?
Yeah, so it's not really a welcome back. It's a welcome to. I have never owned a Jeep before. I don't think she has either. But yeah, she bought a Gladiator. I think they kind of look gay personally when they're stock, but we found one that was modded already from the dealer, and we pulled the trigger. So she has herself a nice little mall cruiser now.
Mall cruiser, the whole fucking pavement princess, huh?
Well, I didn't pay all
Not
that
gonna
money
take
to
her
take her
out any
fucker off road,
off-roading?
that's for sure.
Oh, you got to take it off-roading at least once. So, have you seen a Gladiator without the top and doors on?
I'm sure I have, but probably not in person, I don't think.
Well, I rather enjoy them. I mean, so at one point I looked into trading my Jeep in for a Gladiator, and I called the dealership because for some reason everybody wants my Jeep. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know what's different about mine than one that looks identical to it with the lift kit. I don't get it. But every dealer wants to take my Jeep, and I don't understand it. But I called my friend who's a dealer, and I'm like, "Hey, I would probably trade you my Jeep and get a Gladiator." I'm like, "Can I put a fifth wheel attachment in the bed of the Gladiator?" And he's like, "What? I've never heard anybody even wanting to." I'm like, "Well, I'm looking to pull a fucking camper with it, and I figured we'd put a fifth wheel in there." He goes, let me contact the dealership. I mean, the corporate. And he comes back, he's like, "Nobody's ever asked them this." So I'm holding on to my Jeep, even though they keep trying to offer me like $5,000 worth more than what it's worth. I don't get it, but apparently I have a nice Jeep.
Well, you can't pull a fifth wheel in your Jeep.
Fuck no, you can't pull a fifth wheel Jeep. I'm not getting one now. We have different paths. I'll explain it to you later. So I got my Jeep, and I wanted a Jeep. I've wanted a Jeep my entire life. I love my Jeep. I had it shipped up here from Louisville, Kentucky. That's how much I like my Jeep.
Sight
The big
unseen?
What's they sent me pictures, and then they send it to the dealership, and I had to pay a percentage of the shipping cost to get it there. And then I could walk around it and look at it, test drive it, make sure that's what I wanted. The reason I had to ship it is it's a manual, right? You can't really find anything newer that's a manual transmission. And the reason I did that is because everybody wants to borrow it. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, go ahead. Can you drive a stick?" Well, no, then you can't borrow it.
That's right.
So that was 90% of the reason. Plus, I've driven a stick my entire life. But so as soon as I knew I was getting it, I logged into the Jeep Badge of Honor program. Have you heard of that?
I don't know what it is. I have heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
So what they do is they got a map of the United States on there, and it has all the Jeep trails that are rated by Jeep, and they got a number next to them telling you the difficulty and stuff like that, and you can check in at them, right? And if you check in at the start and the finish of them, you get a Jeep badge. A little picture of the trail that you stick on the driver's side corner right in front of the door, right?
All right, that makes sense. I've seen them before.
And the biggest thing I wanted first off was Black Gap from Texas, right? I researched it. I watched every video I can find of it. It's in Big Bend National Park, and we stayed in Terralingua, and I literally planned a 21-hour one-way trip right after I put my lift kit on to go down there and run the trail. Well, come to find out, there's no cell service at all, right? Because it's a trail. So we get there. I take a picture at the beginning, and I take a picture at the end. And I took a video of the entire me running the trail. I tried to log it into the app for a badge of honor, wouldn't accept it. I may or may not have been a little bit intoxicated when I sent an email saying how much it meant to me and how I want the badge. and I tried sending a video, but I could only send pictures to Jeep Badge of Honor. No response. So I tried again. I tried like 5 times sending emails to this place, and they won't give me my badge. My plan was to go to anything rated 4 and below on the Jeep Badge of Honor. Those were from here on out, those were my vacations, was to get badges and just load the Jeep up with them. But I have not gone to a single another one because they won't give me my first badge.
Have you got into any forums and asked anybody if this is a common problem or?
I have not, but I've also seen that you can buy them online, like on eBay from people. But I don't want to do that. I want a certificate that said that I actually fucking did it in this Jeep, because in the Badge of Honor, you got to put in your VIN number and all that stuff. And it comes with that on the certificate. So hopefully when I clip this up and I send it to them, they can finally give me my damn badge, because that's all I really wanted. I wanted to load the Jeep up with badges and do nothing but fucking off-road with this Jeep. And it's kind of turned into a pavement princess, because the only time I drive it off-road is when I feel like driving through ditches for a while anymore.
Yeah, off-road's a lot of fun, but it can be a tricky, expensive sport.
Yeah, I'd never done anything serious off-roading until I went to that, and I walked right through it. So I figured I could at least get all the 3s, if not the 4s, but the 5s. I'm not breaking my fucking Jeep. I'm not doing it. Those people are fucking nuts.
Yeah, I used to have that a 4Runner build up for wheeling, and yeah, it was a lot of fun, but it can get expensive.
Oh yeah. And
If you ever get a chance to go down to Hot Springs, Arkansas, to the Super Lift ORV park, go down there with your Jeep.
Yep,
Every trail is clearly marked and labeled as far as difficulty for motorcycle, four-wheeler, Jeep, or car, whatever. Besides now, it's been a lot of years since I've been down there, but just really nice, clean. It was a lot of fun.
So that is one of them on the Jeep Badge of Honor program. And at the time, my cousin was living in Arkansas, so we were gonna hit I can't remember what is it? S'more. Southern Missouri
Off-Road Ranch. Never heard of it.
Yep. We were gonna hit that on the way down, knock out Pee Wee's Trail and the other one that they had down there. And then we were gonna go to Arkansas and run a couple of them there and then come back. But I canceled that trip. I even had it half paid for, all because they wouldn't let me have the first badge in Texas or the second badge in Texas. So that kind of ruined.
By not going and having any fun at a park that is not even remotely owned or operated by Jeep, that's how you're sticking it to them.
No. I just quit. The dream of doing all this stuff just died with it.
I get it, but wouldn't it be more fun to document all this, you doing it, and then get online and show that you've done everything and you've got nothing in return?
I
think that would be more of a one-up and more of a flex than just saying, I'm not going to do anything with my Jeep now.
Well, I still do stuff. I just don't do anything that's got Jeep Badge of Honor attached to it.
Which probably, I'm guessing, most of the big and good off-road parks are going to. Like, I bet you Myobi does not have a Jeep Badge of Honor because it's not that great of a park.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But no, I changed my see, that was my whole vacation plan, right? And when I realized that every park I went to is going to have the same issue because I can't connect and can't upload the shit because I don't have a satellite phone, I changed it to going and like flying somewhere and staying in hotels instead of pitching a tent. I turned into a princess.
So all you wanted was these badges. You don't care about wheeling and having fun, being out there, seeing what your truck's capable of, anything like that. You just wanted a badge on the side of your truck.
From the experience, yes.
Right. So but you didn't care about the experience. You just care about the badge.
No, I had a great time with the experience.
Right. So why wouldn't you continue to do that? It makes no sense to say, I'm not going to do it anymore because I'm not doing a badge. Well, don't just log all the shit. Just go have fun and see what your rig's capable of.
See, but that's what I'm saying, though. The whole goal was of the vacations were to go to the Badge of Honor parks.
I understand what you're saying, but it still makes no sense because
it makes perfect sense.
You're still wheeling and having a good time. You're just not getting your badge.
I'm just not doing it there, and I'm just not documenting it. It's different.
Right, but you haven't done it since is the thing. You haven't even looked at any other parks where you can go that don't do that, or you haven't been, I should say. Have you?
Yeah.
Where?
No, you said I haven't looked at any. I've looked at a lot.
No, you haven't been to any though, have you?
No, fuck no.
And how many years ago did this start?
5.
Okay, so you've only wheeled one time. You said, I'm done because Jeep won't send me a badge.
No, I've only wheeled one time in a park. Difference. The Jeep has gone a lot of places, but just not in a sanctioned park.
Well, sure, but fucking parks are going to be more set up for off-road. And if you're going down on the river fucking bottoms, anything can happen there.
Exactly. And I'd rather do that for fun than, support somebody that was not going to do what they said they were going to do because they
You're still
sponsor
missing
the
the point.
parks.
Jeep does not own that park.
No, they
You're not
sponsor
supporting
that
Jeep.
park.
You're only supporting Jeep by doing these pictures and videos and shit. That's the only way you're doing it. By going to the park and paying the money to the family that owns it, you make no sense. But next subject.
We ain't done with that subject yet.
Yeah, but it makes no sense. We're spinning our circles here. You're never going to convince me that what you're saying is right.
No.
If you really cared about wheeling and wanted to do it, you would go do it regardless. You just wouldn't give a shit about if it's a Jeep or not.
The Jeep badges, they look cool.
I understand. Then you might as well buy them because you can't get them.
Don't want to buy them.
I understand that. It makes no sense to buy them, but if that's what all you're after, just buy the motherfuckers. Otherwise, go out and see some of these sceneries at some of these fucking parks. Some of these parks are fucking nice and have nothing to do with Jeep other than these stupid badge bullshit. I mean, some places do have like Jeep jamborees and shit like that. When I went to Superlift, that actually might have been a Jeep event. I went down in a 4Runner, but no, I think that was a Toyota event, but there was just Jeeps there. But it was open for everybody. Usually, whether it's a Toyota, Jeep, whatever, it's open still to everybody. In my experience, but just some of the scenery and the shit you get out of it, and then the people you meet, it is a really good following. I mean, when you break down out in the fucking backwoods, probably 60% of the people don't either have the know-how or the tools to get your shit back to camp. But a lot of people will band together and help out to make that happen.
I've seen a lot of the videos and stuff online of that where people were like changing transfer cases and stuff like that out in the middle of nowhere.
It's fucking crazy what you could do with a fucking screwdriver and a wrench.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen shit like that. I've seen waterlogged trucks get, with diesel. I haven't seen a diesel get submerged. And they sat there and pulled out all the plugs and blew out all the water before that they started again. They started right up and kept on trucking.
So have you seen some of those videos where the trail narrows down and you literally got to walk like your tires up trees to drop into the next section?
Not quite trees.
No.
Iowa has one that's called the butt crack, and it's rocks going up a hill, and it's kind of like that. And it's pretty intimidating when you first do it. Iowa's got a pretty steep hill too, or at least it's been, like I said, it's been years since I've done it. They had a pretty steep hill that was fun to go up. But one of my biggest things, and I'm going to keep going back to that Superlift park, that was the nicest ones I've ever been to. But I remember we went down this fucking hill, and we were in a second gen 4Runner running 35s, or no, third gen 4Runner running 35s, and this hill was fucking straight the fuck down. And we didn't realize it till we were at the point of no return. And it was me and my buddy, his old lady, and my girl's mom at the time. And I actually got out to help guide us down because it was break and just kind of turn and keep sliding all the way down this hill. It was intense, but it was a hell of a lot of fun.
So how many events did you go to when you had your lifted vehicle?
For the furthest away one was the Superlift park. Otherwise, for me, I only went down to Myobe. My truck was built pretty good because I had it geared and locked and all that. But my goal was to end up getting a truck and trailer so I could drive around to do more events. Ideally, it would have been nice to be able to just drive my rig to those places. But at the time, for time, money, and all that shit, it wasn't in the cards. Because it's like, what if I do break down? Well, then I'm there until whatever, or I'm going to fly back, or, there was just too much involved. That's why I said I wanted to get a truck and trailer. They used to have, and maybe you should look into this because you wouldn't want to take your rig, but it's called the Alaskan Cruiser Trek. And it was 10 or 14 days straight where they would cruise, camp, cruise, camp, cruise, camp. And it looked like a beautiful trip to take. That was just one that I always wanted to do. But again, that always came down to money and time.
So that was a lot of the, reason that I quit looking into it as well, is it turned into, my Jeep turned into my daily driver. You know why. And I really couldn't afford to break it as well. So, that had a little bit of hand in quitting the whole off-roading thing, at least taking it to parks and shit like that. Now, I also have friends that do side-by-sides in North Texas. Well, whenever I'd fly down, they'd break out their side-by-sides, and then another one of the guys had basically it was nothing but an off-road Jeep. It wasn't his daily driver. He trucked it on a trailer to the event, and we used to go to Crossbar Ranch in Oklahoma and go down that, which I have videos and pictures of all that stuff. So
Is there sand dunes there?
no, it's
Isn't
mostly
there some sand dune parks in Oklahoma?
I don't know. We've never gone to those. We always go to the rock face. It's got a huge rock face that you got to climb, and there's a bunch of huge rock trails to get in and out. I mean, there's a section where you can drive anywhere through if you just have a moderate little 4x4 or a little side-by-side and get to the like the rock face and all that stuff. But there's also trails coming back out that are high level trails. So like you have to have the clearance, and certain side-by-sides can't even clear them without the high wheelbase and stuff, unless it's
And
the
they were all
middle of the
marked?
night and you're lost. Yeah.
That's all. I love those parks.
So
they take care of them.
We went in there with can't remember we had two big boy side-by-sides and then a little passenger side-by-side. You know, one of those 4-seaters?
Yep.
That has like a 12-inch clearance. Well, we went in there and proceeded to drink way too much while we were doing it, to the point where it started getting dark, and the next thing you know, the 3 of us are lost. 2 of us are still together, and one of us is in the, 2 people are in the little itty bitty side-by-side. And we're the only 2 that know how to get out, apparently. So I'm in with this guy, and we went through the hardest trail for a small side-by-side to even go through. It's called Hell's Gate. And I was calling out the lines, and he was hammering the gas. This older guy was just hammering the gas wherever I told him to go. And
when in doubt, throttle out.
Yeah, we ended up making it out to the main entrance, and by this time it's pitch dark. So we're sitting at the main entrance with no cell service to the other 2, and we didn't have radios, and we just see them going in a circle, the same circle, over and over again. We sat there for about an hour and a half, and finally the old guy's like, dude, I'm hungry. We're going back to the cabin. They'll figure it out. Well, we get back to the cabin, cook some burgers, and like 3 hours after that, these 2 guys finally show up. They went through private land to find a road, and were on the other side of the park, had to drive their side-by-sides on highways they weren't supposed to be on at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm pretty sure that neither one of them should have been driving at that point to begin with. And they showed back up at the house yelling at the cabin, yelling at us for leaving them, like we could do anything about it. The next day we go back out there, and they're like, all right, take us the way that you came out. And we started going into Hell's Gate again. And they're like, how in the hell did you make this the other way? Because downhill, it's easy. You just drop off the rocks and keep going. But on the way up, it'll tear you up pretty good. But yeah, the next time we went there, we had the big Jeep and all that stuff. And we're sitting down at the bottom of the rock face. And this kid it looked like a brand new Jeep without a lift kit up this rock face. And he started sliding backwards on it, did something. It pulled the front 2 wheels off the ground, and then he slammed it back onto the thing, drove up and around, and then he took the easy way down off the other side, which wasn't very easy, but he made it down. He pulls up next to us and goes, not bad for no brakes. He's like, I lost my transfer case about halfway up. I'm like, Jesus.
That's
like
another thing you'll see. You'll see so much redneck ingenuity out there. It's pretty unbelievable.
I thought it was pretty funny. He's like, I don't know how I'm gonna get home. He's like, I only got front wheel drive.
Yeah. I really want to go. I think Texas has one, and Louisiana might have like just one of the big they're like called redneck bashes or some shit, where they got the giant
rednecks with paychecks.
That's one of them, but there's another big one too, but I can't think of the name. And I think it's redneck something. But anyway, I always want to go one of those. That looks like a good time.
Scott used to go there all the damn time. The big beard Scott that's on here every now and then. He used to go there religiously up until one of his friends passed away in the middle of the night out there because they were trying to get back to the campsite, and he took a wrong turn and went rolling down a hill. So,
oh man, that's too bad.
That put the end to that one. But And then there was a big fight or something the next year, like 5 years later, when they went, and they just kind of steer away from it a bit now because they just don't want to get
Right.
into that kind of shit. So,
Yep, I don't blame him.
but I heard up until that point, he was trying to get me there every year. He's like, "You'll never see a party like this,
Oh, yeah.
or the rigs that show up." So,
And that's really what I want to see, because some of that stuff, man.
remember when Katrina hit and you saw
Those
those
trucks,
big,
yeah,
the super huge lifted trucks that were pulling the National Guard out?
just cruising through, picking people up off of rooftops.
That one of the ones that made the national airing was
Yep.
Scott in the back of it, and it was his friend's truck, the one dragging the National Guard vehicle out of the water and picking a couple people up off roofs. That was him.
No shit.
Yep. And that, I think it was a gold truck is what it was, a souped up gold truck. But yeah, he said all of his friends down there have those trucks. I went down there and he started introducing me to people. They got some pretty fancy shit.
But yeah,
mean,
here
they were,
I'm bitching about the money I'm spending on my little rig, and fucking these guys got 10 times as much invested.
oh yeah, not even close, man. I went to one of the guys' houses down there, and he wasn't one of them with all the souped up trucks, but he was one of them that had one of those side by sides with the truck bed on the back.
Hold on one second. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Outstanding. So we rolled out to one of Scott's friends' houses, and he's got one of those side by sides with, it's just a little guy with the truck like bed on the back of it, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, no,
Yep.
that's cool. And then he's got this huge house, big ass garage, camper sitting beside it, another little house next to that, like a little one person house that his mother-in-law lives in. And he's got this big lifted truck. Man, Scott's like, you ain't seen shit yet. I'm like, okay. They open the garage door to this big ass Texas garage. You know how big houses are down there, right? I walk in and he's got like every neon bar light you can think of. He's got 4 or 5 beers on tap. He's got his fancy vehicle underneath the cover over there. He's got a mini bar built in the left stall. And then he put a sliding glass window with a bar that if you push a button, it opens like a garage door. And it's a bar to the house so he can serve people into his house. I walked in this house and everything in there costs more than my Jeep. Like the couches, the kitchen, the bedroom. It is all super, super fancy. Like the fanciest inside of a house you've ever seen. Like stuff you see on the like luxury, what was that fucking show that guy used to walk through celebrity houses?
Cribs.
He was,
Or Cribs was one of them, but you're talking about the Robin Leach Lifestyles.
yeah,
of Richard
Robin
Paynes.
Leach one. Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. It looked like that on the inside. And then once you lift the window and look out, it was redneck as hell. Like it was probably bigger than a dive bar in Iowa in that garage that he had set up in there with all kinds of shit.
Everything's bigger in Texas,
it was
right?
Nice. Yep. And then you go down about a quarter mile to the end of his driveway. There's one of those push button code fences that open up, or a little call box. And he was just one of the redneck guys, but his wife was the other side. She was the fancy lady that had all of the lifestyles and rich and famous going on. So it was pretty fun. But those guys were the same ones that came out and did the off-roading with us and slept in a cabin in the middle of nowhere.
Because they don't care.
I mean, the same type
They're
of
out
people.
there having a good time.
Oh, you bet. So I've been down there 3 or 4 times to Crossbar now. I even got like a hat and everything. Little koozie. It was a good time. So when you pull up, there's only like a little shed office type thing that sells, merch and tickets to go ride. That is all. Nothing but porta potties other than that. And that's all you get. You get one porta potty at the gate. The rest of the time, you find a place where you're in the woods. That's how it is.
I'm talking about.
Yeah. So what's your favorite off-roading, like, overnight excursion that you've gone on?
Like I said, I don't have that many. I've been to Myobe quite a bit, and then I only went to the super lift. But when I went to that super lift, it was awesome. It was a huge party. I mean, I don't remember they had a band there. There was just a lot going on because it was sanctioned by Toyota, so it was a big thing. The ones at Myobi, it has been a lot of a lot of fun, especially like the actual Toyota events, which it's open for everybody, but it's the Toyota group of Iowa that puts it on, and they it's kind of a family aspect, a little bit smaller crowd usually when it's their event. Otherwise, last I knew, Myobi opened up for non-members every Labor Day and Memorial Day, and then there's a couple other times throughout the year. And those weekends are just usually packed and just tons of people. Those big bonfires, cookouts, uh, and just anything and everything, strange, unusual to, I went out and like I said, Myobi, it's not real clean and clear like a lot of like other places that I've been. Um, so you expect to get scratches and dents and dings and stuff like that. And I had a guy go out with us at that time, it was a newer H2, and it actually did really well for being stock, but yeah, he came out with some scratches.
So I got those magnetic, I can't remember the actual name for it, but it's like the magnetic body armor that you stick on every metal piece of the Jeep. So like
Really?
if you hit branches and stuff like that, it's covered by whatever this magnetic shit is. And I put that on quite a bit to make sure I don't get the scratches down the side and shit like that. It works pretty good.
What
At
about
least I've found anyway.
um, windshield cover? You have plastic wrap on your windshield. I'm told that Jeep windshields crack higher percentage than any other because of their angle.
Yep. I do not.
Have you ever?
I do not have that.
Have you ever had window issues?
I have. Yeah, I had a turkey in the front window.
Yeah, well, that's different.
And that was day 2 after I bought the Jeep. I had to put a $500 window in. And then I think it was 6 months ago, a semi threw a rock on the interstate and put a nice shot in the window. So I'm going to have to put another $500 window in here shortly. But I have a glass guy down the street and he'll fix me up. And I got to get the Jeep windows too. Because in the Jeep window, it's one of those little, I can't remember what they're called, but it's got a little Jeep climbing a mountain in the corner. All Jeeps have like hidden little stuff all over them.
Yeah, what about the Easter egg? Every Jeep has an egg or something somewhere?
Yeah, Easter eggs. Yeah, Easter eggs. Mine has quite a bit on it. And if you look around, you'll find like on my actual rims is an old Willys Jeep in red. And then if you look around in like the plastic molding, you'll find like little Willys Jeeps, or you'll find like an imprint of the front end of a Jeep, or another little Jeep rolling around.
Gotcha.
Some of them have like lizards and stuff climbing all over the interior. I don't have those. Mine was 1 year older than when that came out. But you'll find stuff in the engine compartment, all kinds of stuff all over the place, little Easter eggs. But I couldn't put the cheap window in because I wanted my little Jeep back in the little right-hand corner. So I had to be fancy.
All right.
So if you had to plan an off-roading trip anywhere, where would you go?
Besides that Alaska one I told you about, I would go to Moab probably.
Out to the desert?
Yeah. There's just, from what I've seen, I've never been there, but from what I've seen of it, there's just tons of trails and stuff to do. And it looks like for vehicles of all builds, from stock to whatever, and there's trails and shit to go on. So, if you just want to take the family out, and it's all clean, that's the other thing. From what I've seen, it looks like there's trails where you don't have to worry about falling off an edge or getting scuffed up or dents and dings and all that shit. So if you want to take the family out, for a trip or day trip or something, it just seems like that'd be a better possibility.
Well, that's where Craig goes to all the time, is out to the deserts. He loads up a couple of his Jeeps and goes rolling out there. I was looking at one that there's a Jeep Badge of Honor trail that is in the Grand Canyon, to where on the left side, as you're going down, it's a long ways fucking down. And the weirdest part about it that I saw is as you're driving, all of a sudden you'll run into a manhole cover in the middle of a dirt road all along there. And it's the access point to the water system that is to your right and probably higher than you, which I thought would have been cool. But I've seen some of the ones that go up into the mountains and stuff like that. You got to make 3-point turns or 5-point turns. And it's just sheer loose gravel and death off to the other side. They tell you not to wear a seatbelt, because if your Jeep starts going, get out.
No shit.
Yeah. I am not into those at all. Not even a little bit. I don't think I can do the heights on them anymore.
It sounds like you're driving
Not that I
trucking like
don't
third
trust
world
my
country.
driving ability, but yeah, pretty much. One of the main things that I ran into when I was going to places is on the trails, they don't have one ways, right? It's the trails that you have to, find a place big enough to let somebody else by coming from the other way. And when there's sure drop offs on either side of you, one of you's got to back up until you get just wide enough to let them slide by.
Oh, yeah.
And I ran into an ambulance coming from the other direction. It was an old ambulance that they ripped all the stuff out of the inside and they were using it as an off-road vehicle.
Was it
But they had to come from the other
retrieval
way
vehicle?
because there's a huge rock step up. What's that?
Was it a retrieval vehicle or was
I
it
didn't
just
hear you.
set up
Try
for
again.
straight? Was it a retrieval vehicle or was it just set up
No,
straight for off-roading?
no, it was just an ambulance that they ripped the shit out of the back. It didn't have any mods to it other than that. That was it. It was an old ambulance. And the reason he had to come from the other way is he had to jump it over the rock ledge that you climb up going the other way. Because the rest of the trail was pretty easy. It was just that one huge rock step up. So if you come from the other way and you go fast enough, you can just clear it. So that's what he was doing. And at the same time, there was a motorcycle that, worked its way past me. And I don't think this kid had ever ridden a motorcycle before, because 200 yards later, he hits a rock drop off and just smoked himself to the point where the guy in the ambulance had to put him and his bike in the back of the ambulance and cart him out because he couldn't walk straight or anything. So it was kind of funny that not only did he take the person, he took the bike with him because the back was all hauled out. It was a good time. I got that shit all on video somewhere. I have to find it one of these days. But no, I think one of the best places that I'd like to go, and I hate to say it because I really don't want to go to this state, but Oregon has some great scenery and trails up there. Believe it or not, I watched a shit ton of videos from there. Northern
What's
Michigan's
wrong
got
with
a few
Oregon?
where you can. Yeah, we're not going there. That would go into a whole different denomination that we don't talk about. But also, North Michigan has this trail where you go up and you can pull your Jeep out on a narrow rock ledge over top of I think it was a waterfall or a huge drop off, and the rock is cracked to get out on the tip of it. So you literally have to drop down into a gully and pop up on top of it. But once you get to the top, you got to stop because if you keep going, you're going to fall off the edge. I thought that was pretty cool. Probably never going to do it, but still,
We're
thought
gonna
it was
do
pretty
it.
cool. Hey, I figured, the Jeep's big enough it can walk itself up there, but right now I need some brakes, so probably not a good idea. So we got warm weather coming through, starting to come up. We're going to start hitting that spring. You got any like outdoor vacations or activities coming up? You going camping or gonna go throw some barbecues anywhere?
Oh, besides the stuff we do at the house, we got to get our patio opened up, get the TV set back up and everything because we like sitting outside watching TV on the patio. But we got a road trip coming up in May, be a week or so long. We haven't quite narrowed down exactly where we're going. I think we're going to go the Colorado route and then work our way north probably a little bit. Usually when we do our road trips, we do 2 or 3 stops for the 7 days and plan a couple days at each one. And then I usually dive in deeper and kind of find things to do in those places that are not necessarily touristy, like kind of finding like dive bars, local restaurants that are hidden gems, shit like that. It's just a lot of fun.
See, that's what I was wondering about, if you were focused on the like lifestyle of those little towns or if you were actually looking for something specific when you get to them.
Yeah, no, usually I just do a little research and once we kind of figure out where we're going and then kind of go from there. Our last road trip, we went to Nashville, Louisville, and then we ended in Indianapolis when we went to uh, not Ravens, Colts Tennessee game. So Colts Titans, and that was when Henry played for the Titans. Henry just ran all over the Colts, which is my wife's favorite team. So
What was that little place you were telling? telling me about that you guys found like this hole in the wall thing and it had like a big commemorative or something in that little town.
Okay, that was Franklin, Tennessee. So yeah, we went to there's the it's called the Appalachian Trail. I think it's like 380 some miles. It runs between a few different states and takes you through the mountains and stuff. But my wife really likes bridge architecture, and I kind of looked something up and I found that there was a bridge just outside of town. So we drove out there to check it out. And then on the other side of it, there was a little town. We're like, oh, let's go check it out. And it turned out to be Franklin, Tennessee. And once we got in, beautiful little town, just kind of nice. I don't want to say rustic, but kind of just old school, laid back, but real nice, upkept. You ever been to Baxter,
Yeah,
Iowa?
I've been to Baxter.
Yeah. To me, for Baxter is
Yeah,
like per
yeah.
capita is like one of the nicest small towns I've been in. There's just, usually every town has like a shitty side or whatever, but Baxter seems to be. Anyway, so when we got to Franklin, we started walking, we parked, walked around, and there's this big monument in the middle of town, and it was a Civil War memorial, and that was turned out Franklin was the last battle of the Civil War, and I think if I remember right, like 10 or 20,000 troops from each side came head to head, and the North ended up walking away with the most troops still standing. I don't remember exactly what the numbers were, but I was like, holy shit! We just kind of stumbled upon it, and it was pretty cool.
And that's the great part about being in this country is you can, if you get off the beaten path, you run into stuff like that everywhere that
Right.
that has a little bit of significance to it. I mean, where is it? If you go up from us to like you're headed to Strawberry Point, out in the middle of the gravel nowhere is a mini church. They say it's the smallest one in the world and it's only like 3 people can fit in it. But they have like weddings and shit are at it all the time. And it's just out in the middle of nowhere on a gravel road.
All right.
And they've turned it into this big ordeal out there. So, I mean, you run into significant stuff all over the place if you drive around. And it's not just Iowa, it's everywhere.
Oh yeah, I mean, even when
Like,
I worked for FedEx and delivering to rural areas and getting out on gravel roads, you'll see weird shit out there, like commemorative signs saying this was a one-room schoolhouse, back in for these years or whatever, or just coming across rundown schools or courthouses. It's crazy. It's the shit you see um, from towns that used to flourish that obviously don't anymore. That was before our time. It's like, especially like a lot of old farmhouses that you see when you drive by and they're just uninhabited, but run down. Like, what did that look like in its heyday when it was up and operational? I'm picturing back in the day, a big family living there, lots of animals, just the way things were back then. But, it'd been kind of cool to be able to see pictures like that, be able to get a glimpse of that lifestyle.
I like hitting those little towns that like 3 people live in anymore. But at one point, it was like they still have all the big old buildings. They're just boarded up, and there's like theaters and old nickel and dime stores and stuff like that that nobody uses anymore, or old post offices and stuff like that, and just trying to figure out what it was like back when there was hundreds of people in that town.
Right.
I mean,
And the square was
can you
jumping.
imagine the shit that went on there that we'll never know about?
Right. It's like I truly do miss, Newton's kind of a little bit the same way, but I miss the squares where like courthouse is in the square, then you got all the shops around, and there isn't a one-stop shop for everything. Like everything's specialty. Like you got your arts and crafts, your photography store, your hardware store, whatever. All that may be all up around that score. So that way every weekend, evenings, whatever, that's where everybody's at.
Yeah, and it used to be where like communities actually came together and that was their going out was walking around stores and talking to each other on the square, maybe throwing a farmer's market out there every now and then.
Right, there you go. I was gonna bring that up. That's why I like going to the farmer's market every once in a while, or hell, even a flea market. Like, have you ever been to the big flea market down in Watch Here?
Well, yeah, I grew up in Deep River, so yeah, I was there all the damn
Yeah,
time.
that's pretty
We
fun to
just
watch
talked
there.
about that on the last episode, actually, about the Watch Your Flea Market and the figure eight races down there. I don't know. It's another one of the things that pop up in those little towns are just like I hate to use hole in the wall, but it's like a hole in the wall bar, but it's the county fairs. I mean, these
Yeah,
little towns just pop up like the rodeos out of nowhere and all the vendors and shit like that. It's always a good time down there.
right. Oh, well,
You ever been
anywhere
up
like with
to
county fairs.
Strawberry Point?
I've been through there. Isn't that the home of the world's largest strawberry?
Yeah, but it's also got that national park up there. I figured you would have swung through it at least once.
Which one's that?
Strawberry Point National Park. I don't remember the name of it right offhand. That's what it was. Backbone
What
National
was that?
Park, state park.
Gotcha.
It's not national; it's state. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
I
I
went
haven't
up
been to
there
that
and
one.
you have to get a trout stamp to go up there if you're gonna fish, and that was the biggest waste of money that I'd ever spent. Because not only did I get that stamp, I also bought all the shit to fish for them, and I was literally bouncing the food off their face, and they wouldn't eat it. You could see them because the water's clear as day, and I'm literally hitting them in the mouth with it, and they're just looking at me like I'm stupid. Like I can see you, dumb fuck. But no, it was great scenery, great trails up there. It was a good time. I mean, we enjoyed ourselves, but I couldn't catch a damn thing. What's some of the other state parks and stuff around here that you frequent? I mean, we go to Diamond Lake all the time, and it's manicured
Yeah,
all the way down to the water, and that's always
the
fucking fun.
ledges
I
up by
love Diamond
Boone.
Lake.
That's always fun to drive through, especially in the fall. We go up through there every fall. The first Sunday of October. It's a big car cruise, and it goes up through there.
I haven't ever. I don't remember ever going to Legends. Believe it or not, I don't think that's one of them I've hit. But we hit all of them down around here. They're always a good time. Little boating, little camping. Usually a bonfire and way too much alcohol, which will now be Iowa Distilling products because they are tasty. I do like those. Do you still do the camping and stuff like that, or is it mostly just driving through?
Yeah, mostly just driving through. My days of backwoods camping are very numbered. I'm
Is that
more.
because you're getting old, or because the wife won't let you?
No, she would probably actually like to do that, but it's sleeping in a tent and stuff like that. It's just too hard for me to recover. I'm too bougie now. I need a camper.
So speaking of campers, I thought you were working your way to moving into campers, and here you are going the opposite direction. What happened?
Camper. No, I can't get her. I'd love to live in a camper, but I can't get her convinced to do it.
That's what I'm saying. And now you're like, what, building a house or something like that?
Yeah, we're talking. We got the land. Um, we kind of jumped in. We jumped to step 7 before we hit 1 through 6. So we decided to take a step back and do some checks and balances first. So we kind of slowed her down, and we're doing it the right way. We had to make sure first off, there was only one house on that lot before, and it was a 2-acre lot. So we had to make sure first off that we could split the lots up the way we wanted to. Then we had to check and see if there was enough water pressure to add another house because her sister's building a house on the same land. And then now we got to get a surveyor to split the lots up. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And then we got to call Mid-America.
Make sure you got the electrical rolling around.
Yeah, which the electric should be a problem. It's just what it's going to cost to get it ran to our house
That's
where
always
we want to
fucking
build it.
pricey anymore, ain't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Because where our house is going to go, it's about 100 yards from the road. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit.
So if you were trying to get the camper to happen, were you gonna stay local or were you gonna try to just float around the United States?
I'd stay local for sure. I mean, we both got jobs here. But once the time comes, then yeah, possibilities are endless there. But for the most part, I just put a slab out there and park it over there. I get it.
See,
That's not what she wants.
I have I am thoroughly looking into camper life right now, and especially after talking to that kid that came back from Montana. He says he loves it living in a camper, other than he's got to figure out his internet a little bit. It stops the whole hoarding stuff that happens when you have the house. Like I look around in here and I could probably throw away 90% of the stuff in the house and be perfectly happy.
Yeah. We
I
do the
mean,
same thing. Every 3 months we pretty much purge. Whether it be clothes, cupboard, freezer, whatever. It's unbelievable the shit that you accumulate.
I can imagine. I don't even want to go through half of the shit that I have in here right now. Like if somebody came in and just took everything but like my electronics and threw them away, I probably would never miss it. I think that's one of the biggest problems from trying to downsize is the fact of actually going through your own shit.
Right.
It'd be hell. My goal at one point was to get the camper and try to work not really online, but something that allowed me to travel, and then just tote the camper with me wherever I went.
Absolutely.
But that kind of fell off a cliff with Dad's situation right now. So put a hold on the whole camper excursion. Even though I am getting one here shortly, I will at least have one. I may not be able to pull it, but it'll look great in the driveway.
There you go.
And the way I run my mouth, I'll probably have to sleep in it more times than I do my bed anymore. Is I think gonna be the downfall. So, do you still do any fishing at all? You hunter?
I haven't in a while. I never really got into hunting. My family's been big into hunting, and I'll eat about any kind of game. My boy, he's big into hunting. He's actually been to Africa. That was a pretty wild trip for him. But yeah, he goes after the big bucks though. I had to tell him last year that Dad needed some meat in the freezer, so I need just get a doe if you can. I had to get him a doe tag. Yeah, as far as fishing goes, I used to fish a ton back home. I'm more into pond fishing. Fishing, I don't mind either. I used to really love pond fishing, hopping around. And then once I moved out of here, up here, it was just, I don't want to say it was more of a, I mean, it was more of a hassle. I just didn't take I have to take the time to do it. But yeah, that's funny you brought that up. I was just thinking about that today. That it'd be nice to kind of go out and do some fishing again.
So I found the biggest problem I have with fishing right now is I did quit for many other reasons, but the distance I have to travel to actually fish to me isn't worth it. I mean, I got to travel at least 30 minutes from here to get anywhere where there's any respectable fish. I mean, that's one of the biggest hardships there is around here. If you live like where I used to live, you go 5 minutes and you're at a pond or you're at a river or a lake. But here, you got to drive to Pella or you got to drive to Kellogg or something like that to even get to a place where you can viably do that anymore.
Right.
And then it's a whole day once you get there. Plus, it costs you $300 to get ready for fishing season, just in tackle and poles and line and all that stuff. So I haven't really got back into it.
Yeah, I
And
don't
I
even know
sold
what a
my
fishing
boat,
license is
which
anymore.
all the licenses aren't too bad. They're definitely under $50.
Are they?
Yeah. I mean, that's never been the problem. The license is the easy part. It's getting all the other crap that you need to go. And then I lose about $200 worth of lures throughout the season.
There you go.
I don't know. So what kind of fish do you normally go to around here? You a catfish guy?
Yeah, I mean
Bass?
that's fun if you're on the river, but like I said, I'm more of a pond, so I like bass.
They definitely taste the best by any means.
One of the funnest times I ever had fishing was down on we used to go down to Table Rock Lake on Arkansas Missouri border. Um, Eagle Eagle something was the town that we stayed outside of, and we stayed actually on the lake. But the Beaver Dam feeds the lake. The water comes out of the bottom of the dam, and it's like a constant, or 36 degrees or whatever. And there's all kinds of hatcheries down there too. But anyway, the trout love that cool water, so they're always right up there. And I was able to go trout fishing there, and that's the first and only time I've ever been trout fishing. And it was a really cool experience.
I ended up going up to Minnesota with Wes because his grandma had a cabin up there, and we were going for walleye, but I seemed to drag nothing but northerns in, so that was always a good time. They're all running that expensive firewire and stuff like that, and I got my bass pole out there dragging northerns through moss and stuff to the boat. I may or may not run with a little bit too heavy test on, I'm just saying. But it worked. I mean, it was a good time. I heard Table Rock, it's got an upper and lower to it.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
And then all along the side, you have restaurants and bars you can pull your boat up to.
In certain spots, yeah. For what it's been, I'm trying to think. The last time I was there, it's been early '90s since I've been there, so I'm sure it's a lot more developed now. But it was just then it was so calm and quiet, clear water. Like I remember snorkeling there, and you could see as far down as the light would take you. It was that clear.
I think a couple of my other friends have gone down there. I think they went for a bachelorette party or something like that. They went down there and they went out fishing for a couple days with a guide, and they kept pulling up to the bars and stuff like that. And one of them almost fell out of a boat. I'm not sure if that actually happened or not, but sounds about right for the group that went.
There you go.
I heard it was a great experience down there. Every now and then, I think you catch it on the fishing channel where they have tournaments and stuff like that there. It looks pretty cool. I think that's one of the places I need to go. At least swing by and say hi.
I definitely
steal a
recommend
couple
it.
drinks. There was a rock quarry that's over by where I grew up that you had to have special permission to go into and fish, and it was
Right.
93 feet deep, and the pretty much the whole thing was 93 feet deep, but you could see through the water down and see these monsters just swimming around, and you couldn't get them to bite to save your ass. Plus, you'd think you'd put out enough line to get to them, and they're still another 30 or 40 feet below you because you
Right.
could see all the way down there. And it was nerve-wracking, a little bit scary, at the same time fun as shit. Same place we used to go mushroom hunting, which I'm guessing that season is right around the corner as well, chasing those little morel fuckers around. You ever do any of that stuff?
I used to quite a bit. Like I said, not so much as I've been up here. Um, we have where we're building a house. There's open land next to it. We kind of went and checked that out. But we used to have some hot spots back home. That's all developed now, so it's gone. But I do love some
Yeah,
mushrooms.
our favorite spot, I went to where I grew up as a kid. About a mile down the road, there was this timber that was just, you walked in there and you'd fill 2 or 3 garbage bags full of them every time you walked in there. I went back by it a couple years ago, and there's a house sitting there. They knocked down 90% of the timber and put a house there. I'm like, do you even know what you had? People sell that shit for $50 a pound anymore.
Oh yeah. So growing up, when it was only a 2-lane road going in front of our house, now it's 4-lane. But on the other side of the 2-lane, at some point in time before my time, railroad went through there. Well, it was all tore up now. It had all the railroad ties were, sunk into the ground, but it just was a hot spot for morels. I don't know what it was about the soil or the mix or whatever. Man, you could just go in there and just find them by the bagful, 4-lane and tore it all.
Dad used to send me after the elephant ears too. Did you ever get into those? The
I
big
did
ass
not.
mushrooms that grow on the trees?
Yep, never
He
did get
would
into
send me
those.
up he would send me up every damn tree, dead or alive, to get those fuckers for some reason. There've
I
been
heard they're
more
pretty
times
good.
than not the top. Huh?
Said I heard they're pretty good.
Oh, he said they were, but I'd
Never
go up to
tried
the
them.
top of the tree, start cutting them off and dropping them down, and the tree would snap off, and I'd come flying back to the ground, the whole branch. I'm like, here you go. I guess you can cut them off now. Well, that shit happened all the damn time. I'd end up in a river or something because I had to climb some stupid fucking tree to go after mushrooms all the time. But price of being a kid when you grow up with as a little bit of a redneck, I guess.
That's right.
Little bit of white trashy. You just slide right up shit. But no, I didn't know if you were gonna adopt back into that whole camping style life with campers and fishing and all that stuff. I know you talk about going to a lot of those places and at least driving through. I didn't know if you were gonna jump back into the lifestyle or not.
I mean, maybe here, as life starts slowing down a little bit, getting more set up financially, that has a lot to do with things. Maybe, I'm not opposed to it. I don't mind it. The biggest part I have about the whole camping is, you spend all week getting shit ready and spend all this money to leave your house where you have shit to do to go live like you're poor or even richer than your house, depending on your camper, only to come back, only have to clean everything up, put everything away, and then still have shit to do around your house.
So have you ever looked into renting a camper and have it set up for you?
No, but I mean, I know that's a possibility. Uh, at that point, it's just why not get a cabin?
Well, it's the same thing as getting a cabin anyway, ain't it?
Pretty.
So I actually did that when we went to the golf outing. I got on a website and got a camper delivered to Diamond Lake. It's the same as paying for a hotel room, basically, for about the same price. It worked out great. My friend pulled his actual camper in next to us, and we partied for a couple days down there. At the end of the day, you don't have to pack anything up. You just grab your bags of whatever's left of your food, get in your vehicle, and drive off. And they come
There
get
you
the
go.
camper, clean it all up, and everything. So I thought it was a pretty great way to go camping myself.
Fuck yeah.
If I can do that every time, you know. I think I actually rented it through Airbnb because they have a camper section, but I heard like Outdoorsy and RV Easy are better. Wes actually rents his camper out through that site. So when he's not using it, he just drops it off somewhere and people use it and pay him for it. So easy way to, if you get a camper, to at least break even on your payments on it.
Well, yeah, for sure.
I think it'd be
They're
a
getting
great
so
time.
crazy with these Airbnbs anymore. I mean, there's some pretty cool shit out there.
I heard that it's a dying market anymore. It's not the boom fest that it used to be because all the bad press it's been getting for like hidden cameras and shit like that.
Gotcha.
That people are leaning back towards hotels and shit like that. So that is definitely not on the business plan. No Airbnbs. Did not make the bingo card. Have you checked out Dirty Dursky's new board game he made? You see any of those TikToks?
I've only seen one video, and I didn't watch it all, but I seen a little bit of it. It must have been when they were first trying to play it because he was explaining the rules.
Yeah. It looks pretty fun. I think he's gonna have an event or something at another, like, a board game or a comic book store or something like that. I think we're gonna go up to that whenever it comes out. We'll have to drag you guys with us.
There you go.
See if you have any of that one-hit wonder music magic left in you.
Love it.
Well, all right, man. We've been on here a little bit, and I got to go get some shit done, so we'll have to call it a day, man.
Sounds good, brother. We'll talk to you next time.
All right. Thanks for stopping by.
Yep. Later on.
It's called Frosty Dinghy, and I'm the dolphin, and you're the flower.
Well, I guess I think it should be Dr. Parker, but